His name was Joe. He happened to be in solitary confinement, and I happened to be his therapist. You see, he was in jail for murder. His trial was high profile and was nearing the sentencing phase. Everyone was talking about him, even me, but not in the way that I thought about him. Joe was on a long haul of men who had committed heinous crimes against others. They were the cream of the crop, a child sex trafficker, a handful of pedophiles, rapists, a cop killer, and then there was Joe. The first time we met, I felt my heart flutter, both out of terror and out of the realization that he was extremely attractive. I mean, wow. I peeked through his window and saw his tattooed, riddled, muscular body doing push-ups only in boxers. My brain knew that he was a sociopath, but my body didn't care. I knocked. He turned and looked at me, smiled a big toothy grin, and quickly got onto his feet. Joe came to the window. He was glistening. His dark hair was slicked back. His deep brown eyes were looking through me. I knew what he was, who he was, but for some reason, I found him irresistible. Joe said,
"Hey, beautiful."
And I replied, "Hello, Joe. Please address me as your doctor. And make sure to keep your hands where I can see them." The inmates had a knack for shoving their hands down their pants during interactions with female staff. I said this, all while thinking, those eyes, that hair, and his body. No one warned me that he was such a specimen. I asked him about his mood, just because I needed to assess what type of medications he may need. And Joe said,
"So much better now that I met you."
"This is going to be much more difficult than I thought." I looked at my watch to break away from his gaze. It was time to strategize. Joe was accused of killing his girlfriend, the mother of his child, by mutilating her body and tossing her into the lake. He also happened to be a paramedic. I could only imagine what he had looked like in that world. Joe asked me if I would be visiting him every day. He said that it would help him feel better. I wanted to so badly. I was in a lackluster marriage with a man who hadn't told me that I was beautiful in months. Joe gave me attention. He desired to spend time with me, and I felt myself being drawn to him. I had the master's degree, and he was on trial for capital murder, but I decided that I needed to severely limit my time with Joe, and he would only get 5 minutes, twice a week. I went home that night and I dreamt of Joe, all while sleeping next to my husband. On our next encounter, Joe noticed my heels. I had worn them for him, and my husband never noticed my heels. Each time I met with Joe, he tried to pry more into my personal life.
"Do you have any kids? Are you natural blonde? Do you like going to the lake?"
I wanted to answer everything, but the warden had warned me against giving out any information to inmates. They were manipulative, and some are sociopaths. They may not get put away for life or executed, so if they ever got out, they could come and find me. But Joe could find me, and he could take me to that lake that he wanted to. Joe and I spoke twice a week for 5 minutes, and one meeting followed his escape attempt. Joe had conspired with another inmate to eat his own feces, get sick, and try to escape during transport to the hospital. He made it to medical in jail, where the warden was waiting with a recording of his conversation with the other inmate. He was really close to getting out. I was his therapist for 5 months. I heard his desires, his observations, and his many, many compliments. He was sentenced, transferred, and we will never talk again. I still think of him, though, of how he almost escaped, of his compliments, of his eyes, and occasionally I still wear those heels that he liked so much.